Okay, here we are today. We've worked with this guy maybe 4 or 5 times. There's been a bunch of other things kind of going on. But anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to ground pin him and then see how far we can get. What we ran across with him is he would have a tendency to keep me squared up, facing him like he is right now, and wouldn't let me around either side. So he kind of is challenging me and kind of protecting himself that way. So what we need to do is eventually get to the point where we can get around his side and touch his body on both sides, and then maybe get him desensitized to objects like the saddle pad and maybe some weight. So we'll see how far we can get along, and then I'm going to try to get a bit in his mouth so I can start sensitizing him along the way. So as a general rule, if I can get a bit in his mouth, it gives him something else to think on and allows me to kind of really get further faster. So anyway, I'm going to send him off, do my round pin, point, this, send him off. So I'll just go through my 6 steps of round pinning. So the first cue is to point, second is clock, third is to spank or to send the rope out. He's showing me where the gate is today. He's thinking he needs to tell me. I already know where the gate is. So what we need to do is get number 1, consistent direction going around the pin. Then number 2, change to the inside. Number 3, consistent direction around the pin the other way. Number 4, change to the inside. Number 5 is a consistent change of direction. And then number 6, walk around the horse until he catches me. So in a nutshell, those are the 6 steps of round pinning. And to get control of our horse, get control of his feet, we eventually get control of his mind. So the 3 cues to get my horse to go forward are point, clock, spank. Point, clock. He should speed up. He kind of sped up just slightly in his extended trot right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him to change direction. When I do, I'm going to use number 1, my verbal cue, verbal blow. And number 2, I'm going to turn my body 90 degrees. And number 3, I'm going to raise my hand up in the air. Going this way, it's going to be my left arm as an imaginary lead line cue. And then number 4 is going to be draw away till he comes and faces me to change his direction. So we'll do it right around here. So step 1, whoa. Step 2, change 3, hand up. 4, step back away. So it's challenging me a little bit. Okay, he's got to the point where he's figured out how to be lazy. And how he does that is looking at me. So now we're to step 3. Point. Step 2 was change to the inside, turn and face. Step 3 is consistent direction the other way. Okay, so step 4 is going to be a change to the inside. We'll let him get some consistency going around this way. Now, if he messed up and turned to the fence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him go the way he was originally going before he messed up and turned into the fence. So, whoa, turn, point, send him on. I'm just using this rope to desensitize him along the way. So the more I can touch his body, the more he's been kind of just inadvertently kind of touched here and there. Initially he was kind of striking at it or kicking or doing whatever. But now he's kind of shifting away, not kicking and not striking. So he's starting to kind of get the memo. So if we can flip it over his back, we can actually get him where he can be sensible. And what I'll show you too is if we're not a roper, I'll show you how to get your horse caught if you don't know how to rope. Okay? So when you pitch the rope out there, you throw it over there. That fell off, but you throw it over towards his head. But if I throw it towards his head, it'll land right on his back. As a general rule, unless he's going really fast. So I'll throw it towards his head, lands on his back. Let him come around. Now here's how I'm going to rope him. I'm going to have him turn to the inside. Whoa. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this rope up and around. Just flip it. Now he's gotten used to me allowing to facing me, so now I'm gradually going to rope him. So I am, but I'm not. So just flip that. Flip again. Say, there we go. And the more you can wrap this around, now I got it roped. So we did a little session out here the other day, that he kind of turned loose, and so I went and roped him off of the saddle horse and kind of taught him to give depression a little bit. He hasn't forgot it yet. So anyway, so that's good. But this is how you rope your horse if you don't know how to rope. So just flip it over there, and then this also desensitizes him at the same time. So I'm going to flip it, twist it, flip it, twist it. Okay? So now I got it. So on the other hand, if you rope him, then you're committed. You have to find a way to take it off. This way, if I don't want him, I can just flip this out, flip it, and then be done, turn him loose, and go into the house. Say that I'm scared that this Mustang scared me. So now we're committed. There we go. So now he's giving really good depression. Oh boy. Perfect. Because I know there's a lot of times I've ran across people who tell me that they don't have rope or they don't want to, cause a wreck or whatever. So this is the best way I've found to kind of teach people to kind of get your horse over to give pressure. Now, he's leading fairly good. I'm kind of surprised. So, perfect. See how he's kind of looking for something behind pull release. This is where you can kind of teach him to lead. I've really never done a leading exercise outside of when I roped him out in Reno with the saddle horse. Pull, release. There we go, pull. Now if it unwraps, you can just stop and re-rope him. Put another wrap on it. Because what happened there, I lost the turn. So, just going to flip. And so when I first started doing this, obviously he's going to flip his head around and kind of be a little bit crazier, but there we go. And the worse that you are at this, the more calm and desensitized your horse gets, because obviously we don't get him wrapped around in the first try. There we go. Pull again. Perfect. Pull, release. Pull, release. Anytime you feel pressure, there we go. Pull, release. Now, just because I taught you how to rope your horse doesn't mean that you have an excuse to not learn how to rope. So, that means you can still go get a rope and learn how to rope. This is you're never going to catch anything if you're on a horse and you're trying to do it this way. But for the round pin's sake, you can use this to kind of get where you need to be, get your hands on them. So, perfect. Go up here and we'll see what we got. So the other day he would let me on any of his sides, and so we worked on getting over here. See how he kind of turned his body right there? And so what I want to do is I want to get my hands on his head. I want to get 2 hands on his head and overstimulate him. Then I want to get my belly to the point where I can put my belly against his hip, or not his hip, but his shoulder, and I have 3 points of contact. So I'm going to have my left hand, my right hand, and then I'm just going to be moving him around and desensitizing him here. So the more I can touch him, the quicker and further I'll be able to get him to trust me. And also I want to put a bit in his mouth here in a little bit, because that'll be the 4th point of contact where he has to think about it. So as an example, the conscious mind can only think about one thing at a time. Whether it's a horse, whether it's a human or whatever, you can only think about one thing at a time. If I'm thinking about fishing, I can't be concentrating on what I'm doing here with my horse. So I need to be focusing what I got going on here. So anyway, so we'll work my way. So I got his halter in my left hand, and I'm just kind of rubbing up and down the halter, and I'm just working with my right hand all the way down his neck through his withers, and I'm just going to eventually take a little bit more of his body. So this is a pretty good little deal, because before, he kind of would raise his head and kind of want to push me away, kind of want to be a little challenging. So now we kind of went the other way. He's letting me kind of get over here, and he almost wants to tip his head to the right and kind of want to bolt and leave town. But I got a rope on it. Doesn't mean I can control it completely, but I can deter it a little bit. So come up to him, rub him, and walk away. Yeah, that's awesome. He wants to kind of come up to me. Now the other thing that's going on, if you watch the end of my rope down here, is touching him right on his right front leg. And so it's desensitizing him and causing him to kind of have a little bit of concern. So when he walks forward, what he's doing is he's kind of shaking or moving his head from left to right. So there we go. So I'm just going to gradually work my way down his left side. So this is monumental for him. So see what he did right there? He squared me up, and realistically, that's the last place I really want to be, is dead in front of him in case he rears up and goes to strike me. So if I could, I would draw a line where his front right is. I would draw a line. I'm going to try to draw this line so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to draw a line right here. And then I want to draw another line that's going to be going out this way. And so I want to be not in front of him. So if my horse is standing right here with his head, I'm out of harm's way from striking, and I'm out of harm's way from being kicked. So that's where you need to be in the safe zone. So we'll see what we can do with this little guy. We'll just stop right there for a second, and we'll call that the round pinning to get your hands on your horse.